Everyone, today in English, we will skip over to chapter 13, which is a chapter about sentences. Today's lesson will focus on sentence parts. So open up to your work text page 275 and let's begin. In chapter 11, we learned about adjectives, and at the end, we reviewed how to write a paragraph. So what's a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of sentences written about one main idea. We learned how to write paragraphs before, and paragraphs have 4 parts that you shouldn't forget about. First is, when you start a paragraph, you have to remember to indent the first sentence. An indent is that small space about as wide as the end of your thumb. And after that indent, you will have to write a topic sentence. A topic sentence tells the main idea of the paragraph. After the topic sentence, we should write details. Detailed sentences tell about the topic. Then finally, we end the paragraph with an ending sentence. The ending sentence tells the end or how the writer feels. It may also retell the topic sentence, but a little differently. Today we are not going to focus on a group of sentences, but about sentences themselves. Why are sentences so important? What makes most of the normal sentences? Well, let's find out. You should be on English Work Text page 275. More Sentences, Chapter 13. Let's read this part together. Why are sentences important? You are learning to build good sentences. You use tools to build a sentence. You use sentence parts and different kinds of words. You use a capital letter at the beginning and a punctuation mark at the end. You can use sentences the way God uses them in the Bible. Your sentences can help others learn about God. What you say or write can show love to others. Knowing about sentences also helps you understand what you hear or read. All right, a sentence needs, what does it need? It needs sentence parts and different words. It also needs to have a capital letter at the beginning and a punctuation mark at the end. Do you remember what punctuation marks we put at the end? We can put a period. You can put a question mark. And you can put an exclamation point. And we put a period at the end of a statement or a command sentence. We put question mark at the end of a question sentence, and we put exclamation point at the end of a sentence that shows strong emotion. So why are these sentences important? They are important because you can use sentences to help others learn about God. You can show love to others by writing or speaking sentences. And also, knowing about these sentences also helps you understand what you hear or read. Let's go to next page. Here we have some examples of sentences. Let's read them together. Churches are places where we worship God. This church was built with a steeple. And steeple is this tower. This church was built with grass. So all of these three sentences start with a capital letter, and they are all about a church. But each sentence explains different things about each church. So the church in all three sentences are called a subject. And the rest of the sentences that's written about the church is called the predicate. Let's move on to the next page. So again, usually for most of the sentences, sentence parts can be split into a subject part and a predicate part. The subject part tells who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate part tells what the subject part does or is. And the main word in the predicate part is a verb. The verb can be an action verb or a linking verb, like the verb is or are. So in those three sentences that we just read, each sentence was about a church or churches. So these churches were the subject part. And the rest of the sentences is the predicate part because it's talking about the church. So let's look at the example. The men build the church from blocks. So this sentence is about the men. So that's why the men is the subject part. Then what about the men? The men build the church from blocks. And remember, the main word in the predicate part is a verb. And this verb can be action or linking verb. In this sentence, the verb is an action verb. So, build a church from blocks is the predicate part of this sentence. Let's try number 1 together. Numbers 1 through 4, you're going to match the subject part with the predicate part. So number 1, the men would do what? Which predicate is the best match for this subject part? The men. Remember, the men with the E, means more than one man. So it cannot be helps the missionary because when a verb has an S, it means only one subject is doing the action. So it's not the first one. Fly to Africa. Maybe is a small building. The man is not a building, so that cannot be it. Worship in the new church. I guess that could be a good answer too, but I think the best answer would be fly to Africa because it seems like this sentence is about a group of men going to Africa as missionaries. Number 2, the block church helps the missionary, is a small building, or worship in the new church. Well, the block church is a thing, so that means it fits best with is a small building. Number 3, Jim helps the missionary or Jim worship in the new church. Well, Jim is only one person, so that means it fits best with helps the missionary. When a verb has an S, that means only one subject is doing the action. So that means the African people worship in the new church. Very good. Let's move on to numbers 5 through 7. Write the subject part or the predicate part, the verb part, to complete each sentence. Draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. So you have to complete 2 steps. You're going to write the subject part or the predicate part to complete each sentence. And then you're going to have to draw a vertical line, so a line that looks like this. in between the subject part and the predicate part. So let's try these together. Number 5, blank took dad to the airport. So looking at the word bank, would it be the giant jet took dad to the airport? Mom took dad to the airport? Or wave to dad took dad to the airport? Well, we are looking for who or what the sentence is about, right? We're figuring out who took dad to the airport. So it cannot be the last one because the last one is the action part. Then that means it has to be the giant jet or mom. A jet is like an airplane. So that means it has to be mom. Then where do we draw the line? Well, we know that mom is the one who took dad to the airport. So mom is the subject and took dad to the airport is the predicate part. So you're going to draw the line right in between mom and took dad to the airport because mom is subject. Took dad to the airport is the predicate part. Number 6, our family did what? So the sentence is about our family and we're looking for what they did. And the only choice in our word bank that shows the action part is wave to dad. Our family waved to dad. So what's the subject part and what's the predicate part? Where do we draw the line? Well, we know the sentence is about our family and wave to dad is the action part. And we know that because it begins with an action verb. So we draw the line right in between the word family and the action verb waved. Number 7, blank flew the men to Africa. Well, our last choice is the giant jet, and that makes sense because the giant jet is the airplane that flew the men to Africa. And we know the sentence is about the giant jet. So the giant jet is our subject part. So flew the men to Africa is the action part, the predicate part. So we draw the line in between the word jet and the action verb flew. For number 8, you're going to write a sentence that describes a church from page 276. And then you're going to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part, which is the verb part. So 276 is this page, and we have 3 different pictures, each showing different church. So you're going to write a sentence that describes one of these churches. You can choose whichever church you want to write about. And then you're going to write a sentence to describe that church. So do not copy these sentences. I want you to try writing your own sentence. So maybe you can write about the color, what it's made of, how it looks. And then what you're going to do is, just like we did for numbers 5 through 7, you're going to draw a vertical line in between subject part and predicate part. The next page is pretty much the same as the page before. So you're going to connect the subject part with the predicate part for numbers 9 through 11. And for numbers 12 through 14, you're going to complete the sentences and then draw a vertical line in between subject part and predicate part. For numbers 15 through 17, you're going to write the word common or proper in this blank space to describe the underlined noun. Let's try number 15 together. Billy plays football. Is football a common noun or a proper noun? Now remember, a proper noun is a specific name of a noun. So that means it is capitalized. So is football a proper noun or a common noun? Well, it's not proper, so it is common noun. I want you to try number 16 and 17 on your own. Well, that's it for today. See you next time.